Today we're going to be taking a look at German sport guns 1911 chambered in 22. Comes in a decent little plastic case here. We're going to go ahead and open this thing up and see what's inside. All right, let's do a little comparison between the GSG 1911 chambered in 22 and a regular 45 1911. The shape of them is identical. They both fit in the same holsters. This is my outside the waistband holster for my 1911, and the GSG 1911 fits right in there. Also, if you've got one of the Serpa or the kind that they actually lock in there, it will lock right in there. Fits in there securely because they lock to the trigger guard. And they are identical. The trigger guards are identical, the slides are identical, other than the material they're made out of. The GSG has a lot lighter slide on it because the 22 doesn't have enough power to cycle it reliably if you've got that big heavy steel slide on there. This does have a magazine interlock on it, so if you take the magazine out, you cannot pull the trigger. So you have to put it back in. And being a rim fire, you don't want to dry fire it. You can do it with the 45 because it's a center fire, and you can fire it without a magazine being in it. Now the takedown on this is a little bit different. You'll notice on this side you've got your takedown lever right there. You've also got a pin right there and a screw right there, and those both have to come out to be able to get this thing completely apart. Let's go ahead and get in little details about how it comes apart. Alright, disassembly of this firearm. You can see there's a little takedown notch. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. It's pretty small underneath there. This is your latch, your notch that carries, that your takedown lever or your slide lock hooks into. And then there's right behind that, there's another little small notch right there. That's where your pin's going to come out at. So what you got to do to disassemble this one is go ahead and make sure it is empty, has been cleared and everything. You're good to go. No, can't release that hammer without the magazine. So go ahead and do that. Flip it over. Go ahead and take this Allen screw out with the supplied Allen wrench. It's kind of a long screw, not very big, not in there real tight either. Doesn't need to be. We'll go ahead and take that out, set that off to the side. Go ahead and pull your slide back to where that takedown notch is. Right there. Go ahead and push your pin out. You can go ahead and take that out of there. Let your slide go forward. Now there's a pin right there that needs to come out too, and it'll come out this side. The slide catch is what holds that pin in there. So you're going to take that pin, push it out, pull it out of this side, and then go ahead and slide it forward. Now you can really tell the difference once you get it apart because all that weight is gone pretty much. And you've still got the barrel bushing on the front there. Go ahead and pull that to the side. Go ahead and pull that out. Pull your spring out. Your guide rod and everything comes right out of there. Turn your barrel lug the other way. And you can finagle it. Get your barrel lug out of there. Pull your barrel right out the front. Now you'll notice if you've taken apart a 1911 before, you don't have that swinging lug on there, which is kind of nice. It makes it a little easier to get back together. But you also don't have an ejector, an extractor, and all that kind of stuff on there. Not much of a feed ramp on here as compared to the regular 1911s, but it's a pretty light barrel, a little steel tube inside an aluminum outer housing on the barrel. You can take this off here. There is a wrench supplied in the kit, and that'll come off there, and you'll have threads on the end of the barrel there. We're not going to take it down that far. But for cleaning, I mean, it's pretty easy to get in there, just like a regular 1911. You got your, your stuff in here you need to clean up and make sure it's kept in good working condition. You can clean everything up in here. It's pretty well polished inside there. It's pretty nice. And you got easy access to the bore to clean everything up. Just be careful with your extractor and ejector and all that kind of stuff. Reassembly, there's a lot more parts to this one, so let's go ahead and try putting this thing back together. Slide your barrel back in there. You can put your guide rod back in. Let's see, let's get our spring back on there. Get our barrel bushing. Actually, let's hold off on the spring for a second. Get that barrel bushing back in there. We'll get it, I promise. There we go. Swing that back over, then put your spring back on your guide rod down in there. Put your button back in there. You can see there's a little square notch on there. It goes up toward the barrel side. Hold that down, rotate it back in until it locks, and then take and slide it back on. And you should be able to put your pin back in there. Goes in this side only because it's got a little head on it there, kind of like a nail. And like I said, your magazine catch is what holds it on there. Get that lined up in there. Go ahead and pull your slide back a little bit. You want to get your pin in there and get that little notch right in there lined up. And this is the tricky part sometimes on a regular 1911, is getting that detent to push back in there. There we go. Get that pushed back in. You can go ahead and take the screw. Get that right back in the hole there. Give it a little snugging, doesn't need to be real tight. Go ahead and function check it. Can't pull your trigger, put your magazine back in it, make sure it's unloaded. Go ahead and pull your trigger, everything's good. Alright, we're going to get this magazine loaded up with some CCI mini mags. These are 40 grain, 1235 feet per second. It is a 10 round magazine, so let's go ahead and peel out 10 rounds there. There's a little nut button here on the side you can pull down on the follower, but that doesn't quite pull you down as far as you need for the 10 rounds, so I'm going to grab it right here on the little button in the middle there, and we'll go ahead and get them loaded up. Again, there's a little notch kind of cut out there where the rim actually goes in, so you don't slide it all the way. You don't have to slide the whole distance of the round. But we'll get 10 rounds loaded up in here, and then we'll take it out and see what it does on the range. All right, a 1911 is probably one of my favorite guns. It's an old classic, and 22 is one of my favorite rounds. So, I mean, this is the perfect combination of function and affordability. 22 and a 1911, specifically made for it. It's not a conversion, so it should cycle reliably. And like I said, this one's on loan to me, so we're going to go ahead and give it a try. I'm about 5 yards away from the target. I got the silhouette target up there. We're going to give it a few tries and see how it does. All right, go ahead and put the safety on there. Go ahead and reholster it in my regular 1911 holster. And took 5 shots there at, like I said, about 15 feet away. Let's see how that did. Okay, here's our target. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all right there in a nice tight little group right there in the X-ring in the center. Like I said, I'm only about 15 feet away. And there's no recoil to it, so really if you want to do a bunch of rapid firing with this, that would not be a problem. You don't have to worry about getting right back on target because you never got off target when you pulled the trigger. Let's go ahead and step back a little bit farther and give it a try. We'll go right for the head and see how it does. All right, I've still got 5 rounds left in this magazine, and we're about 10 yards away, about 30 feet. Let's go just for the head shots and see how they do. All right, locks open on the last round. Let's go ahead and release the slide and release the trigger. Holster it and see how the headshots come out. All right, here's the headshots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It shoots great. I did pause on one of them there, but I couldn't really see where they were hitting from that far away, but I got all 5 of them right there in the head. So, I mean, it seems like it's shooting pretty accurately, so I guess the next thing to try is the 100-yard target. Let's go for it. All right, I've only got 10 rounds of 22 left in this box. I think that's all I'm going to do for this one, but I got to go ahead and try for the 100-yard target. It's just, you know, it's one of them bad habits I got. This having a longer barrel on it, it should be pretty easy to do, and it seems like it is right dead on target, at least at 10 yards. 22 has pretty good velocity to it. I don't know what the drop's going to be on this length barrel at 100 yards, but hey, I got to try it anyways. Let's give it a try. Well, that was it. Hey, I didn't do too bad. 100-yard target's always fun, especially when you got a little short barrel like that. It's nice to give it a try, you know. Anyways, that is the German sport guns, GSG 1911, imported by American Tactical. And it's a pretty good feeling gun. Like I said, it feels the same as a 45 caliber 1911, same size, dimensions, everything. And really, it's great if you wanted to really practice with one. This would be a good option for it because, you know, the low cost of the rounds. I mean, it doesn't have the same recoil, so it's not going to be exactly the same, but the feel of it, the fit of it, the size of it, the weight is pretty close. It's a little bit lighter than a regular 45, especially when you got, you know, 7 or 8 rounds in your 1911. But it's really a pretty nice, nice little handgun. Anyways, thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review. I'm Richard. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you'll know when I release a new video. And thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review.